Imagine a world where no human being works anymore. Not because everyone became rich, not because a crisis happened, but because robots became so intelligent that human labor was simply no longer needed. Factories operate on their own. Taxis drive without drivers. Hospitals operate with robotic doctors. Artificial intelligence runs companies, and robots even create new robots. And the most interesting part, you never have to earn a living again. Sounds like the perfect world? Then subscribe to the channel, because right now we're going to imagine what would happen to humanity if robots took absolutely every job. And perhaps the scariest part wouldn't be unemployment at all, but what people would do after they never had to work again. Imagine the year 2046. You wake up at 8:30. There's nowhere you need to rush to. In the kitchen, a robot is preparing your breakfast. Another robot is cleaning the apartment. Artificial intelligence has already checked your finances, planned your day, and even ordered groceries. You open your phone, and you see the news. Human labor is no longer needed. Sounds like science fiction, but think about it. Today, machines can already write texts, create images, analyze documents, program, drive cars, work in factories, and perform a huge number of routine tasks. Now imagine combining all of that. A robot doesn't just work in a factory. It can receive a task, come up with a plan, execute it, check the result, and correct mistakes. Now add millions of such robots. And suddenly a question arises. If machines can do absolutely everything, why would humans be needed at work? At first, the simplest jobs disappear. Cashiers, drivers, couriers, warehouse workers, call center operators, cleaners. But then automation moves further. Robots start building houses. AI creates advertising. Algorithms run companies. Machines diagnose diseases. AI writes legal documents. And robotic surgeons perform operations. Even professions that once seemed exclusively human gradually become automated. And then a strange moment arrives. You look at the city and see a huge number of machines. They build roads, they deliver food, they repair power grids, they grow food, and there are almost no people at workplaces. The city works without humans. But then, the main problem appears. How will people make money? Imagine that a company used to have 10,000 employees. Now it needs only 100 people to control the systems. The rest of the work is done by robots. The company produces more products, faster, cheaper, around the clock, without salaries, without vacations, without sick leave, without weekends. From an economic perspective, this could be incredibly efficient. But there is a paradox. If people stop working, who will buy all these products? A robot won't go to a store. A robot won't buy a new apartment. A robot won't order pizza. A robot won't buy a car simply because it wants a new one. So society would have to change the very principle of the economy. Perhaps every person would receive a basic income. Or the government would create a system where part of the profits from automated production is distributed among everyone. Imagine, you produce nothing, sell nothing, don't work. But every month you receive money because the economy generates enough wealth without human labor. At first glance, paradise. But this is where things get really interesting. If robots produce almost everything, the cost of many things could fall dramatically. Food, automated farms, houses, robotic builders, transportation, autonomous systems, electricity, automated energy grids, clothing, fully robotic factories. The world could see something that seems impossible today: extremely cheap goods. But there is one thing that cannot simply be printed in a factory: land. The best location by the ocean. An apartment in the center of New York. A house in a prestigious neighborhood. A rare work of art. A unique experience. Things that are physically limited in quantity will still remain expensive. So even in a world of robots, wealth won't disappear. It will simply change its form. Suppose robots work better than humans. They are smarter, faster, cheaper, more precise, and most importantly, they don't get tired. What happens to humans then? Today, we often define ourselves through our profession. I'm a doctor. I'm a teacher. I'm a businessman. Work is not just a way to earn money. For many people, it gives them status, purpose, social connections, the feeling that you are needed by someone. Now imagine that all of this is gone. You wake up, there's food, there's housing, there's money, there's entertainment. You don't need to work. The first month, amazing. The second, amazing too. A year later, you might ask yourself, why am I even needed? And this is where a world without work could face not an economic, but a psychological crisis. But humans are amazing. If they don't need work to survive, they may start working for something else. Someone will become an artist. Someone will start creating music. Someone will grow plants. Someone will travel. Someone will pursue science. Someone will build their own companies simply for the pleasure of doing it. And then the word work may take on a completely different meaning. Not, I have to do this to survive, but I'm doing this because I want to. Imagine a child growing up in a world where nobody says, you need to get a profession so you can earn money. Instead, they are told, find something that interests you. Maybe this will be one of the greatest changes in human history. Now let's imagine the worst-case scenario. The robots don't belong to everyone. They belong to a few corporations. These corporations control factories, energy, transportation, food, information, artificial intelligence, and essentially most of the economy. People no longer work, but they also don't control the machines. Then a new division emerges, not between workers and owners, but between those who own the robots and those who depend on them. This could create the greatest concentration of wealth in history. And then the main question will not be, will robots replace humans? It will be, who will own the robots? Today, people spend decades building careers, education, university, first job, promotion, new position, higher salary, then retirement. But if robots perform every profession, a career could simply lose its meaning. There would be no need to work 40 hours a week. Perhaps people would work only a few hours, if they wanted to, or not work at all. And then we would gain the greatest resource that we almost never have enough of today: time. Imagine humanity receiving, for the first time, an almost unlimited amount of free time. What would we do with it? This question is much more complicated than it seems. If money is no longer the main problem, people may start competing for something else. Popularity, influence, uniqueness, creativity, attention. Imagine a world where every person can create a movie in a few seconds, write a book in a day, create a video game in a week, generate music, build a virtual world, create their own robot. The problem will no longer be creating something. The problem will be getting someone to notice it. And perhaps the most valuable resource of the future won't be oil, not gold, not even money, but people's attention. At first, a robot simply performs a task, then it begins to learn, then to optimize its own work, and then imagine a system that can design new machines, new algorithms, new factories, new robotic systems. Humans simply set the goal, and the machines find the way to achieve it themselves. At that moment, humanity could find itself in a completely new situation. We would no longer be the most efficient form of intelligence on the planet, and this could be both the greatest and the most dangerous event in history. Imagine that this day has truly arrived. Humanity no longer works. You no longer need to earn money to survive. You can travel, learn, create, spend time with your loved ones, do the things you could previously only dream about. At first glance, this is the perfect ending to human history. But there is one problem. If work is no longer needed, what makes a person needed? For thousands of years, our lives have been built around work. We built, invented, created, earned, competed, achieved, and suddenly, machines can do all of it. Perhaps a future without work will become the greatest freedom humanity has ever received. Or perhaps it will be the moment when we have to ask ourselves, for the first time in history, a very uncomfortable question. If we no longer need to work to survive, what will we live for? And perhaps this is where the real revolution will begin. Not a revolution of robots, but a revolution of people who, for the first time, have the freedom to do what they truly want. So imagine yourself in this world. You have money, you have time, you have freedom. What would you spend your whole life doing? Write your answer in the comments. And if you want to find out what a world where technology changes the very nature of human life could look like, subscribe to the channel. Because the future has already begun. The only question is, will we be ready for it?